What's up, YouTube? It's another day with the one and only Billy J. And as the story of the Bible continues, we move on past Lot and his daughters in the cave. And there doesn't seem to be any more talk of that. So I take it they lived happily ever after in the cave in the mountain. Well, the story continues with God's chosen one of Abraham. And Abraham and his family do some traveling, and they end up in the small kingdom of Gerar. And I guess while they're wandering around in the kingdom of Gerar, they are approached by the king himself, King Abimelech. And Abraham and Sarah both tell the king that they are brother and sister, not husband and wife. And King Abimelech says, well, okay, since she's not your wife, I will take Sarah from you. Now, if you recall, Sarah is like 90 years old. Is King Abimelech a granny chaser? Seriously, what purpose is Sarah gonna serve being one of his wives? She can't produce an heir, she's too old. Even Sarah will admit that. And the only way that she can produce a child is through the grace of God. And speaking of the devil himself, God comes to Abimelech in a dream. And God tells Abimelech that he is a dead man. He's a dead man walking. Because the new woman that he took, Sarah, is somebody's wife. In this dream world, Abimelech tries to plead his case. He tells God that he hasn't touched Sarah, and he points out the fact that he did not know that Sarah was married. Because all he was told by Sarah and Abraham were that they were brother and sister. And he says, look into my heart and know that I'm telling you the truth. And God says, I have looked into your heart and I know what you're saying is true. And I have prevented you from committing sins by preventing you from even touching Sarah. Now return Sarah to Abraham, because Abraham is a prophet, and he will pray for you. But if you fail to return Sarah untouched to Abraham, I will kill you and everyone in your kingdom. Perhaps the news of Sodom and Gomorrah have reached your ears? Yeah, that was me. So the next morning after Abimelech wakes up, he calls his small council. And he tells his council what happened last night in his dream. And everyone is afraid. So they call Abraham before the council. And Abimelech asks, what have you done? What did I do so wrong that you brought the wrath of God upon me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should never have been done. What was your reasonings behind this? And Abraham responded, well, when you guys approached, I saw that your kingdom did not fear God. So surely you would have killed me for Sarah. And technically, we didn't lie to you because we are brother and sister. You see, we share the same dad, not the same mother. So that kind of incest is okay. And when we set out on this journey long ago, I told Sarah that if she loves me, whenever we are approached by strangers, always tell them that you and I are brother and sister. That way, I don't get killed. And with this explanation, somehow Abimelech was satisfied with that. And he gave Abraham some sheep, cattle, and slaves. And of course, he returned Sarah. And he told Abraham that they could set up camp anywhere he wants in the kingdom of Gerar. And he had some words for Sarah as well. He says, I'm giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver for any grievances and harm that I may have caused you. And then Abraham says a little prayer, and the curse of all the females in the kingdom of Gerar being barren was lifted. Because God made everyone barren when they took Sarah. Why does Abraham keep doing this? Remember, this is the same thing that happened in Egypt when the Pharaoh took Sarah and then all of a sudden all these plagues started happening. Is this some kind of scam that he and God are running? You know, a way to get more supplies and more slaves? That's the way it seems to me. I don't understand why they need to keep doing this and lying to people and saying, hey, we're just brother and sister and not husband and wife. Why not start out telling the truth and saying, hey, that's my wife Sarah? And if the kings or the pharaohs or whoever has a problem with that, then God can step in. Maybe have an earthquake or something fall from the sky, or perhaps even a vision. And couldn't God do some sort of preemptive strike by coming to the kings or the pharaohs in a dream before Abraham even comes into their kingdom? That way Sarah doesn't have to be taken hostage or anything. Because I'm sure that's pretty difficult for Sarah emotionally. I know I would be kind of messed up in the head if every time we go somewhere I got taken hostage. Who knows, maybe Sarah does have PTSD. Well, that's it for this story. Check back next time where we continue with Abraham, where he and Sarah finally have their kid. Remember, peace, love, unity, respect. Peace out, guys.
What if God